Unstoppable Movement. My name is Christian Tierra, and I'll be your guide on your journey to transformation. The Unstoppable Movement is all about helping you transform physically, mentally, and spiritually so that you can live a life that's more fulfilling and purposeful. Before we get anything started, though, Happy Women's Month. I honor you not only this month, but every day, because without you, there would be with no me. Also, I thank you for helping pave the way, making a way for me, so that I can continue to pave the way for women today and tomorrow. So today's video, I'm going to be dumping a lot of information on you. I'm going to be giving you a lot of jewels here. So I definitely encourage you to get your notebook, light an incense, have your candles going, get your crystals, because we're going to get into it, honey. But before I really get into it, I kind of wanted to start off with a letter, basically setting the mood, telling you what's it going to be before we even get into it. At first, I was very hesitant to this video. I dreaded the backlash and personal drama that this video would stir up in my life. To those of you who struggle with the idea that people might have different beliefs or opinions than your own, I encourage you to stay in your lane and off my channel. I am unstoppable, so I will no longer be limiting my voice or my truth. For my unstoppable soldiers who struggle with using their voice and speaking their truth, I send you my love and my support. And feel free at any time, any day, to hit me up on @The Unstoppable Movement on IG, and I'll just be there to listen or to talk and share my support. Let's get right into our video today. Today's video is a mixture of a lot of things. I'm going to be educating you on what a spiritual awakening is, signs that you're going through a spiritual awakening, the stages of a spiritual awakening, as well as some tips to help you get through your spiritual awakening. And of course, I'll be sharing my personal story. Now, the first things first is I have to explain to you what a spiritual awakening is. And I really like the definition that lonewolf.com used to explain what a spiritual awakening is. I think they summed it up pretty good. According to them, a spiritual awakening marks the beginning of your initiation to your spiritual path. This initiation comes when you least expect it, but when you need it the most. It's meant to shake things up and transform your ideology and perceptions of the 3D world. The reason why it's called an awakening is because you're literally waking up. You're no longer accepting things that are usually just taken for granted. You're no longer accepting things that are generally accepted by the masses. You're starting to ask questions. You're starting to ask questions like, why are things the way they are? You're starting to ask questions like, why do we accept this? And where does this come from? You start to really dig deep. And a lot of these questions aren't easy to answer and require you to look within yourself, require you to do some deep soul searching in order to answer. So that is what a spiritual awakening is. Now, the next question that comes after this naturally comes after we answer what a spiritual awakening is why do spiritual awakening happens and why your spiritual awakening is happening to you. And while that is an easy question, it is also a tough question to answer. And honestly, I had a little struggle trying to figure out how to best explain it to you, but this is the best answer I can come up with for now. A spiritual awakening can happen for a number of reasons. And honestly, the divine timing has a lot to do with it. But also, the spiritual awakening is also a product of your soul evolving, expanding, and maturing. I personally believe that the universe, creation, source, God, whatever you subscribe to, I personally believe that the universe chooses certain people to awaken. And while I'm trying to keep this video more general, I definitely encourage you to look up the term light worker. But the universe chooses certain people to awaken, to help in assisting the world, help in educating the collective. So we're being used as tools to help educate. And I feel like also that's kind of the reason why I created this channel, because I'm being used as a tool to spread the word basically and spread the knowledge to help other people awaken and other people become more in tune with the universe and themselves. Now let me explain what a spiritual awakening is, why it happens. We can get into the stages of spiritual awakening. For those of you who are going through spiritual awakening, which you most likely are if you're watching this video, kind of give you a gist of the different stages that you will be going through. And while these stages aren't linear, it doesn't necessarily have to be one after the other, kind of give you a general map of what it's going to be like for you, and you kind of see what stage you are at now and what you can expect. Now, the first stage of spiritual awakening is called, what most people in the spiritual community call is the dark night of the soul. And while I would say that not everybody's spiritual awakening is the same, because it's going to be catered to what you need to awaken, everyone pretty much goes through a dark night of the soul. And I know that might sound scary and real, but a dark night of the soul is necessary. And basically what dark night of the soul can best be described as a time where, honestly, you're going through depression, you're isolated, great unhappiness with life, you're just basically going through it. A dark night of the soul is basically a time where you're just going through it. And that is necessary. You're basically needing to be stripped of your old beliefs. You're basically needing to be put in an uncomfortable situation so that you can grow. And basically, like, they say in order to grow, you have to come out your comfort zone. Dark night of soul can basically be described as a time of you being pushed by the universe out of your comfort zone, and you going through the changes of adjusting to being out of your comfort zone. It's not going to be pleasant, but at the end of the day, just like anything else, once you go through this period of time, you're going to be much satisfied. You're going to be, there's going to be certain happiness of being able to go through that and basically see how far you come. So dark night of soul, though it is uncomfortable, though it can be unpleasant, it's very necessary in order for you to evolve in your spiritual journey. The next stage is called your shifting. Once you get past the dark night of the soul, it's stage 2, which is basically the shifting of perspective. You start to see reality in a totally different way. You're starting to ask questions. Like I said, you're still continuing to ask questions, and you're starting to be okay with the fact that the world might have bigger things, or the world may be more to the world than what everyone might believe or what the general public might believe. You're starting to become okay with that idea that there's more out there, that there's different perspectives to see rather than the one that's just popular. All right. And then the next stage is seeking answers and meaning. And this stage for me, I'm not going to get my story till the end, but this stage for me was one of the longest stages for me. But this is a stage where, okay, now you've shifted your perspective, you're open-minded to other perspectives than the ones that are accepted by the general public. And now you're starting to seek answers. You're starting to ask questions, but not just asking questions. You're going to start to look for answers and try to solve these mysteries. You start, wanting these answers and doing the work to find the answers to your question. Questions that might come up, one that I can definitely remember from my own personal journey was, what's the purpose of life? Why am I here? What's the purpose of my life? What's my spiritual destiny? Who am I? These identity questions are going to start to pop up, and you're going to start to find answers. And basically, why do we believe the things that we believe? You're going to really start to look for those answers. You're not just asking questions, now you're looking for the answers. So that's basically stage 3. Then next you have stage 4, where you actually start to find those answers and find answers that fit and in line with your with yourself, fit in line with you. You're starting to have breakthroughs, certain things, a lot of aha moments. A lot of times where you're just like, oh, okay. You're seeing the bigger picture now. You're starting to, really evolve spiritually. And you have those questions, but now you're having answers, and now you're having answers that you can accept, and basically creating your own spirituality and your own, understanding. And this time is unlike the dark night soul, the time of joy. Just imagine like the first time you read a book, or first time you learn about something new. That kind of newness of an excitement of learning things new is this period of time. This is stage 4. Then stage 5 is basically a time of disillusionment and feeling lost again. So you are having answers, you're having breakthroughs, okay, you're not just going crazy, it's starting to make sense. But then you basically hit a wall again. And you become a little bored with spirituality because not all these shocking things are happening anymore. And think of it as being like a junior in college or, in high school. It's not as exciting as freshman year. You're kind of going through the motions, and you're starting to crave even deeper things than initially that you faced. You want deeper answers. You're wanting deeper experience. You're craving to get deeper. And sometimes the universe is requiring you to be patient, and you're not going to get everything. And I know personally that was one of the things my spiritual awakening was, especially looking at other people who were further along their spiritual journey, is wondering why this wasn't happening to me, and why are all the cool stuff happening to me and all this stuff. And having to be patient and let the universe, do what it do while you learn, but pace yourself. So this is stage 5. And then we have stage 6. And this personally, I feel like I'm at this stage myself. But in this stage, you're not just interested in the feel-good spiritual philosophies and just the surface level spiritual stuff. Like 5, you're going deeper, but you're also starting to do inner work on yourself. You're starting to face the things that aren't necessarily pleasant about you, things that subconsciously you don't necessarily like about yourself. You're going to start to want to do that inner work to change those things about you so that you can be more spiritually evolved. Things that are holding you back. You're going to start to try to get rid of these blockages, whether that be from doing, working on healing some, childhood traumas, shadow work, which I'll get into another video. But basically, we're getting the ugly. You're going to get to the ugly side. Not like the dark night of the soul, but you want to evolve. You have the desire to evolve past the things that hold you back, and you're going to want to start to move those blockages where, like I said, you're going to be focusing on self-love, healing, basically healing those traumas, and so that you can move forward, because you're realizing that these things are keeping you from having those even deeper experiences and things like that. So, and then the last stage of spiritual awakening is that you start to take the lessons that you learned throughout your whole spiritual awakening journey and applying to your lives. And you're going to basically be a completely different person from where you started in your spiritual journey. Think of this as basically that senior year of college. You've come a long way. You're no longer the freshman that you used to be. You're going to start to apply the spirituality, not just in name, but in your daily life. Okay, you're going to basically be walking the walk in stage 7 of a spiritual awakening. You're going to be applying these things to your life. You're going to have a routine. You don't necessarily have to have a certain form of religion that you subscribe to, but you're going to basically, this is going to be a thing. This is basically, it's not no longer a hobby, it's a lifestyle in stage 7, and you've basically done the full circle. Now, while the spiritual journey is a period of time in the beginning of your spiritual journey, understand that you will continuously, even once you get to stage 7, to grow and collect new knowledge and have new questions and basically have breakthroughs that the universe will show you when the time is right. So you're never, ever, ever, ever going to stop learning. You're never going to stop evolving on your spiritual journey. But this is just pretty much the high school, or you can say college, before you get into the real world of spirituality. This is what a spiritual awakening is. Now that you know what a spiritual awakening is and the stages of a spiritual awakening, let's go over the signs of what spiritual awakening feels like. And you can either keep a list or, here's some support to let you know that you're not just going crazy. These things are real. And though people's spiritual awakening and the signs that they might experience aren't the same or necessarily the same as everyone else's, because again, our journeys are completely different from one another. These are just some common signs that a lot of people who've had spiritual awakenings have experienced. during their journey. So number one, if you're watching this video, my times at Chin, you're probably going through your spiritual awakening. I'm a strong believer that the universe has a way of getting information to you when you need to hear it the most. So the very fact that you even clicked on this video is a great sign that you're probably going through your spiritual awakening. Number two, you feel as though your life is false. I would describe this one as you start to see a glitch in the system, as Matrix reference, but you start to see a glitch in the system, and that's the best way that I can describe it to you. You start saying that things are kind of off here. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like something about life, something about the light that I'm experiencing just seems off. Like there's something more, and that is a sign of a spiritual awakening. Two, you're craving meaning, and you're craving more meaning and purpose than usual. You're starting to just crave wanting more out of life, wanting more. What is my purpose is the question that definitely comes up a lot. What is my purpose? What is the meaning of life? You're wanting more out of life than just, the regular stuff, the routine things. You're wanting more. You're feeling like there's something more. You're feeling like things are off. This is just the vibe that a lot of people, most of us, experience in the beginning stages of our spiritual awakening. Number three, you begin asking deep questions. Seriously, like I said, one I could just think of right off the back is like, what is the meaning of life? And how did we get here? And just these not crazy, I don't want to say crazy, but these deep questions that most people wouldn't necessarily think about. They just kind of take for granted or just accept because that's popular belief. So yeah. So when I say crazy, I don't necessarily mean that you're crazy, but to people you may seem like you're being extra or like crazy. Like, why are you asking these questions? It just is because it is, But you're starting to ask these questions. You're starting to feel like there's something more to this, something. These questions should have answers. And you're going to start to look for these answers. Number four, you realize that a lot of what you've been taught is a lie. Because you're asking these deep questions and things like that, naturally, you're going to go start looking for these answers. And the universe will give you that information to the questions that you've been wanting to know. Like I said, my favorite one is, what's the meaning of life? Why am I here? You're going to start getting those answers. Your information is going to start basically being downloaded on. When I say downloaded, I mean that the universe is going to start sending you those downloads, basically sending you those information and things like that. You're going to start reading certain books and things, and resources are going to just basically find you through your research and through, I guess, divine intervention too. You're going to start, finding answers and realizing that things that mom and pops taught me, or things I learned in school, things that I just used to accept, were actually not true at all, or off in some way. And you're starting to see that during this time. You're going to feel completely lost and alone. And though that does sound super depressing, and it is, it's a necessary evil. Like I said, this is basically dark night of the soul. People are going to be able to relate to you like they once did because you're evolving and changing. And though I talk about comfort zone being something that you need to pull yourself out of, and that is a solo experience is coming out of your comfort zone, you're going to start to see that even the people around you can bring comfort sometimes or keep us in our comfort zone. So during this time, the universe is going to kind of not make these people disappear, but kind of put them in the back burner or put them on the back burner because you need to focus right now. You're coming out of something. You're coming out of your comfort zone. And sometimes the people around us can also be our comfort zone. So during this time, you're going to feel lost and alone. One, because the things that you're now doing, the things that you're becoming exposed to, most people won't be able to relate to or understand. So you're going to be doing a lot of research by yourself. And also, again, because the universe needs you to focus, so it's going to get rid of distractions. And distractions just aren't just things that you bring upon yourself. Sometimes it's just the people that we're around that can be distractions. But again, this time won't last forever. I'm not saying you got to get a whole new family and things like that. You might, but it's a short period of time in the grand scheme of things that you'll look back and actually laugh about it. You start to see, next sign is, you start to see through the illusion of society. So again, now that you're starting to see that, everything is just basically BS, that a lot of things that we've been taught to believe, you're starting to see that most of the things in our society are an illusion. And I'm not going to get all, tinfoil hat on you, but you start to see that, let me just put it like this, like I said before, you start to see basically through a lot of the BS that a lot of the institutions and things in our society have built. You're just starting to see through it a lot. The next sign is you start to see how unhappy people are, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the last one I just gave you. You're going to start to see through, again, the BS. You're going to start to see that a lot of people are just putting on fronts. You're going to start to realize that we're all living in our own personal illusion, or a lot of people are living in their personal illusion. And you're going to start to see it, and people aren't as happy as they may make themselves seem on social media and to you. You're going to start to see that. You're really going to start to see that during this time. Next sign is that you're going to want to purge your life, okay? Now that you're coming out of your comfort zone and things like that, you're going to start to want to get rid of the things that are distractions to you. And this is a intuition thing. Your intuition is going to tell you, hey, this is blocking you. This is keeping you from progressing and things like that. So during this time, you're going to really want to let go and purge the things that just aren't important anymore, because you basically, how you're going to be thinking at this time is you got bigger fish to fry. You're finding the meaning of life. You're, evolving as a person. You're figuring out who, what God is and what the universe is all about and things like that. You're just being exposed to so much. So you're going to want to purge all the stuff that just not essential to your evolution. You're going to want to start getting rid of those things. Conversations will start to seem shallow. So again, a lot of stuff kind of repeats itself, but conversation will start to seem shallow. When you're on a mission, a soul mission and things like that, when you're evolving and things like that, you're not going to care about having the latest and the greatest, as my dad would say. You're not going to care about those things. You're not going to care about having the new shoes that came out. You're not going to care about the music that's coming. You're just not going to care, because you're starting to see that a lot of these things that we've spent so much of our lives being obsessed with is really small in the grand scheme of things. And a lot of your friends who aren't on the same path as you, a lot of your friends who have yet to be awakened, are going to be in that stuff. And it's just going to seem pointless to you. Not saying you don't love those people, not saying that you don't like them anymore, but a lot of the conversations and things that we're obsessed with, because you're starting to be awakened and enlightened, are just going to seem like such a waste of time. And again, it's not going to last forever, but that is one of the signs that you're going through a spiritual awakening. Another sign is you'll start to become aware of your old habits. Okay, since you've been doing so much work on evolving, so much work on changing, so much work on getting rid of your own personal blocks and things like that, it's guaranteed that you're going to start to notice some things about you that's not so likable. You're going to start to do that shadow work. You're going to start to, work on the ugly side of you, the stuff that is subconscious you push back on your mind. Like a good example of this would be like, if you're selfish or you've been selfish before your spiritual awakening, you're going to start to want to get rid of that. You're going to start to be like, hey, maybe I'm selfish. Maybe, I'm not as kind as I can be. Or, maybe I procrastinate a lot. Or maybe I'm like super lazy. And this is the reason why I'm not where I want to be. You're going to start to notice those things and really be honest with yourself that, honestly, a lot of times we are our worst enemies, and you're going to start to really acknowledge that and take responsibility for the fact that you are in your own way. So you're going to be aware of them. Another sign that you're going through in a spiritual awakening is you start to experience anxiety and depression. And though that is not fun, trust me, it's not fun. Again, it won't last forever, and it's part of the process. And the reason why you're going through depression and anxiety and things like that is because it's really shocking to the system when you realize a lot of things that you believe, a lot of things that you know in all your life aren't true, aren't real. It is a lot for the mind to take, so naturally it feels like it's under attack, or you feel like you're under attack and things like that. And it's traumatizing. It is, but it is necessary, you know, because now you're basically rewiring your mind, you're rewiring your consciousness. So it's going to be very shocking to the system, but it's definitely going to be worth it, and it's not going to last forever. Another sign that you're going through your spiritual awakening is you become more sensitive. Like I said, I think that was like the first one. You start to become more aware of things than usual. You know, the things that you would have not even paid attention to, you're going to start to notice, you know. You're going to start to notice, you know, the little things. And when I mean by the little things, I'm talking like you notice, trying to think of a good example. You notice that the same red bird or whatever, you know, just happens to always be on your windowsill or whatever. Things that you would never notice before, or just random things that would happen. You start to notice numbers and synchronicities and things like that that you would never have thought, given a second thought about. You're going to start to notice things, words, numbers will just start to stand out to you. Patterns that never stood out to you before are now you're gonna be sensitive to. You're gonna notice these things. Your spiritual gifts also, which is very exciting. But your spiritual gifts are gonna start to show a little bit. Not gonna be full on come out, but your spiritual gifts will kind of every now and then, not every now and then, but a lot of times the universe will kind of drop little things for you to keep going, little pieces of encouragement and things like that. So during this time, definitely your gifts are going to show, and you're going to become more sensitive to the world around you. I already talked about synchronicity, so yeah, you're definitely going to see a lot of numbers. That was one of my number one things that stood out for me, was numbers. All of a sudden it was just like ridiculous. And I know everyone always talks about 1111, and if you haven't heard about it, 1111 basically symbolizes new beginnings and spiritual awakening. So you're going to see these numbers a lot, and that's basically how the universe will communicate with you, or how one of the ways the universe can, because the universe can communicate with you a lot of different ways, but that's one of the ways. So you're going to start to see those numbers. I know for me, I was seeing synchronicities like literally 10, 11 times in a day. I couldn't look at a clock without it saying 444, 333, 1111, 555. You know, I was getting receipts with it. The prices of things, it was just popping out to me all the time. So these are the things that are going to start to stick out to you. And those are just some of the signs that you are in fact going through a spiritual awakening. And though I can go on forever with how many different signs, because again, our journeys aren't the same at all, and that's okay. These are just some of the signs that you're going to experience, that you may experience on your journey. And I wanted to give you this list to prove to you that you are not going crazy, because one of those signs, I guess you put a star next to one, you're going to feel like you're losing your freaking mind. And I feel like I'm going crazy just trying to explain and just visualizing you watching this right now. It sounds insane, I understand it, but I'm just letting you know that you're not losing it. You're going through your spiritual awakening, and these are some of the signs. Yes, this is real. It's not in your head, and you're not having, a mental breakdown. So yeah, these are some of the signs that you are in fact going through a spiritual awakening. So I originally meant to make this video one big thing, but this video actually turned out to be a lot longer than what I expected. I told you guys we're gonna have a lot of information in this video, but no worries. I'm gonna just do a part 2 where I'll share my story, my own personal experience with my spiritual journey, and also I'm gonna give you those tips that I promise you to help you get through your spiritual journey and make it just a little bit easier. But while you wait, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and also hit that notification button so you never miss when the Unstoppable Movement is on the move. But anyway, I'll be doing that video soon. But until then, join the movement, be the unstoppable movement. See you guys next time. Bye.